Everyone keeps asking me the same question. Can you actually hit your protein goals while doing a no spend or low spend challenge? Because when people hear no spend, they assume that you are surviving on rice and beans and maybe a little bit of sadness. But here's the truth. I am 2 weeks in, staying within my no spend rules and my calorie goals, and I am hitting 140 grams of protein in a day. So in this video, I'm gonna be walking you through what I ate in a typical day during week 2 of this challenge, and also the budget-friendly protein sources that made it all possible and the recipes that I leaned on. At the end, I will rank all of them by protein density per 100 calories, meaning the most protein for the fewest calories. So you're gonna wanna stick around. I think the final ranking might surprise you, and it may completely change how you think about eating high protein on a budget. So if you're trying to eat high protein without blowing your grocery bill, or you're curious about how to do a 30-day challenge like this without having to compromise on your macros or your health goals, this video is for you. So let's get into it. Let's start with a classic that still earns its place in the budget protein category: eggs. They are my #1 breakfast staple, especially for make-ahead meals like egg bites or breakfast pizza. But this week I kept it really simple. Most mornings I made my set it and forget it frittata, the one that basically cooks itself while I am getting ready for work. Once I get all my ingredients mixed up, I pour it into a preheated pan that's been lightly coated with olive oil. I give it a quick little scramble, put the lid on, turn off the heat, and walk away. I love this method because it finishes cooking with the residual heat and steam from the pan, giving you a perfectly set, fluffy omelet with zero babysitting, and it's ready when you are. 28 grams of protein for 247 calories. It's a strong, simple way to start the day. But breakfast alone isn't going to carry me through to lunch, so I add in a mid-morning smoothie. This also helps me spread my protein intake across the morning, which also makes a big difference when it comes to protein absorption. So my go-to green smoothie includes kale, frozen banana, green apple, ginger, lemon, water, and a scoop of protein powder. Now, say what you will about protein powder, when you look at cost per gram of protein, it is still one of the most economical options out there. And this smoothie gives me 23 grams of protein for 293 calories, plus a really nice hit of fiber. And honestly, the ginger and lemon just take it to the next level. It is so, so good. So let's move on to lunch, because this one surprised me. So this week, lunch was on repeat with a quinoa bowl built around a classic plant-based protein, tofu. Now, I used to have a love-hate relationship with tofu, mostly because of the texture. I knew you could make it crispy if you pressed all of the water out of it and then roasted it with a little bit of oil, but depending on the day, that can feel like a lot of work. But then I discovered a much easier method: pre-boiling it in salted water. So instead of pressing the tofu, I simply cubed it. I simmered it for about 5 minutes in salted water, dried it off with a clean kitchen towel, and then I just tossed it in a bowl with some cornstarch, some seasoning, and a light drizzle of sesame oil. I threw it into the air fryer at 400 degrees for 12 minutes with a few little shakes along the way, and the end result was crispy, golden, and addictive. So this became my main lunch protein all week. Half a block of protein gives you 24 grams of protein for 213 calories, and this full bowl came in at 33 grams of protein for 580 calories, plus a ton of iron, calcium, and fiber that kept me full all afternoon. So you will find the full recipe linked below. Okay, dinner for me this week was comfort food upgraded. I made a high protein shepherd's pie using 2 more budget-friendly proteins: lean ground chicken and low-fat cottage cheese. Ground chicken has been a freezer win for me on this challenge. I found it for $3 a pound, 1 day away from its expiry date, which is totally fine to cook with if you're going to be using it right away or putting it into your freezer, which I did. Cottage cheese, I'm going to admit, I was definitely late to the cottage cheese party. Before I got serious about protein in midlife, it wasn't even on my radar, mostly again because of the texture. At 13 grams of protein per 100 calories, low-fat cottage cheese absolutely deserves the hype. I used it to boost the protein and add creaminess, both in the sauce and the mashed potato topping on this recipe. So no heavy cream, no sacrifice on flavor, and it was just so good. The full recipe is in the description below. After dinner, I like something a little sweet, so I will often finish my day with some low-fat Greek yogurt. I keep it super simple. I might just top it with a bit of frozen fruit or just drizzle a little bit of maple syrup and a dash of cinnamon. It's definitely the easiest way to push my total protein intake over that 140 gram mark without having to load up on calories. And speaking of calories, let's rank the protein sources that I use today by protein per 100 calories from lowest to highest. So coming in at number 5, whole eggs at about 8 grams of protein per 100 calories. These are just a basic staple that you're always going to want to have on hand. So versatile, so easy. Number 4, tofu, roughly 11 grams of protein per 100 calories. Super budget friendly, plant-based, and when cooked properly, so yummy. Number 3, low-fat cottage cheese, around 13 grams of protein per 100 calories. A quiet little workhorse that fits into so many different recipes in so many different ways. Number 2, lean ground chicken, about 18 to 19 grams of protein per 100 calories. A freezer MVP for me this week and a meal prep hero. And then of course, coming in at number 1, low-fat Greek yogurt and at 19 to 20 grams of protein per 100 calories. It's creamy, affordable, and the most protein efficient food-based source that I use today. So let's not forget about protein powder. It's not really a food, which is why I left it off the list. For me, it's more of a supplement. But when you look strictly at protein efficiency, it delivers about 21 to 23 grams of protein per 100 calories, which is why it is still one of the most economical tools to have on hand when you need to boost your protein in a pinch. So yes, my friend, you can hit your protein goals on a no spend, low spend challenge. It's not about deprivation. It's about intention, it's about planning and using what you already have with a little bit of creativity. So if this video helped you, please let me know in the comments below which of these protein sources surprised you and which of the recipes are you going to be trying out next week. I've linked my 30-day no spend tracker below, which is what I'm using to track my low spend, no spend days. And be sure that you're subscribed so that you don't miss the weekly updates. We are learning how to live better with less on this channel and creating a life worth eating well for. And if you missed my week 1 update of the 30-day challenge, you can watch it right here. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.